This video is sponsored by BetUS. Go ahead, check them out at betus.com, powering our videos all year long. That's betus.com.
Hello, welcome back. It is Jack Mack, High Top Sports Georgia. We got a good one for you today. Going to go over these first round college football playoff games. JT is going to join us in a minute. Sounds like he is making the trek up to the cold tundra that is the shoe on Saturday night. He's going to give us his takes on what it's going to look like. Sounds like he's been going back and forth with some Ohio State fans all week with some good fun humor. I'll let him tell you about it. But just got some news before we started shooting tonight. Carson Beck, as we expected, is not going to be playing on January 1st, whoever we play, which is not great news. But again, we expected it. Gunner's got some time to get ready. And I like where we're at. We're getting some doubt from people as we have been all season. So love where we're at. Next week, I'm going to get a little bit more in depth into what Gunner can bring that Carson can't, obviously his legs. But I also wanted to touch on these high school football games. State championship in the Dome, and Georgia has some help on the way. I know the receivers have been the biggest issue we've seen in a while, most drops in the country. But if any of you watch that Milton kid, Ethan Barber, I mean, he is a monster. Darnell Washington 2.0. I am very excited to see him. Got some action in the transfer portal as well. Dade Key from Kentucky. I think that was, Dade Key. He visited Georgia. Good things I'm seeing on Dogs Daily. So looks like we have some help on the way next year for Gunner, whoever this quarterback is. But again, we're going to get more in depth into Georgia specifically next week. Got some games before that to get to. And with that, I will add old JT, who is riled up for a big weekend. Here he is. What is up, my friend?
What's going on? Let's go.
We are here.
First weekend, finally here. That last weekend was, gotta love the Army-Navy game. Love watching it. It's a good little in-between, I guess, of the regular season and the college football playoff here. But ready to roll, man. Ready to roll. Making the last second trip up to Columbus. Going to be excited. Tennessee takeover. Neyland North, we're calling it. Neyland North.
Hey, it's been social media. Twitter has been hectic this week. It's been fun to watch as an out. I have no dog in the fight this week. I can relax, but it's been hilarious. Ohio State fans haven't seen Tennessee Twitter. It looks like.
Nope. Nope.
But yeah, they're giving it to old Barstool Tate over there, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. We're swimming laps in his head right now. I think the last 3 videos, a guy made a music video about Tennessee fans trying to bash us. He's just tired of us. Ohio State fans didn't know about Tennessee Twitter. I've been seeing it on my timeline. Why didn't anybody warn us about these people? Who are these people? These people are nuts. They aren't ready. They're not ready. We got the Tennessee fans. We infiltrated. We got their season ticket code, bought up all their tickets. Hell, they're selling us their tickets. From what I understand, allegedly we got 30 to 40,000 ready to take over that stadium. A lot of orange.
Goodness.
A lot of orange coming to Columbus. So
under $100, I heard. That's absurd that they're out there for.
They have no idea. Oh yeah, less than $100. If you bought them early, you paid $500 plus. Now you can get them for $85. Lower bowl tickets.
Yeah, these Ohio State fans, and Ohio State over there is the poster child. That's where they're at mentally. I mean, where can they go? They just lost to Michigan. I mean, they're in shambles. I was seeing some reports about Vrabel, just peeking around the corner here for a looming Tennessee victory over Ohio State to get Ryan Day packing. So looks like they have their hands full with these storylines going into a big football game at home. So not where you want to be mentally before an SEC team comes to town, in my opinion. But yeah, one more thing you mentioned Navy. We hit the over. First time in 10 years?
Yes,
More
indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes,
that's
indeed
amazing. That gives me, I think we're going to get some low scoring football games this weekend. The only game I can see being a little bit of a track meet is SMU Penn State. I can see SMU scoring, Penn State scoring, but I think we're going to be seeing some good old fashioned December football, Michigan, Ohio State. We were just talking before the show. I think we're going to get that times 2 with Tennessee coming into town. It seems like on paper they can They can do what Michigan can do, but better. I mean, they have a better defensive line. So I expect in the teens final score up there in the shoe. Is that kind of where you're thinking total wise?
Yeah, I think last week I gave my pick was the under in that game. So I really do think that game's going to be an under game. I think it's going to be a little bit of a rock fight. It's going to be cold. We talked about it a little bit earlier. It's Tennessee's going to want to play their game. I think as long as that defensive line is kind of dominating, and Ohio State's not able to get the run going and really get any sort of pass game going. I think if you get Will Howard in the situation where he's got to try to win it with his arm, you're in a good spot. So, if that's the case, and they're struggling to pass the ball, and like I said, can't run the ball, Heupel's going to stick to what he's done all year, and that's be conservative and let the defense kind of take over and let Dylan Sampson be the workhorse that he is.
Yeah, I definitely see a ground and pound football game. Definitely the weather going to play a toll there. Ohio State's going to need to throw the football, though. I mean, no doubt. They can't really run the ball. So Will Howard's better have something up his sleeve with the wind and everything. But I will say, I mean, I'm a big history guy. If you follow my TikTok, I have these trends of what I think is going to happen. And with Ohio State, I'll give it to them. When they lose to Michigan, that next week, 3 times in a row, is their best game. I mean, this Jackson Smith and Jigba game that I kind of forgot about in that Rose Bowl, that was after a Michigan loss. Obviously, the Georgia game, and then Justin Fields with Clemson.
Yep.
So they play great, and their offense especially plays great after the game. So who knows? Like with those last 3 scores, you would think maybe the offense figures it out, and it may be a higher scoring game. I mean, I think it's going to be a close game no matter what, maybe an overtime game. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is a shootout. I really wouldn't, with just the history of that and Ohio State's offense. I heard Chip Kelly, they watched the Michigan tape, and they're like, oh, we know we saw the problem on tape. So, look, they think they figured it out, JT. The coaches, the players, they sound confident. The fans do not. But the inner circle seems confident. So I will say that.
Yeah, I think the big difference we see here in this situation is, and I've heard people talking about, Ohio State's great after loss to Michigan. And you brought up 2 names that are head above heels better than what Will Howard is, and that's C.J. Stroud and Justin Fields. Will Howard is not C.J. Stroud or Justin Fields. I don't think he's anywhere close to what C.J. Stroud or Justin Fields is. And I think in this situation, what's going to come down to is the offensive line for Ohio State. If they can't block and he's got no time back there, he's going to struggle. And maybe there's plays to be made with his legs. He's a viable runner, and that's something Tennessee has struggled a little bit this year, is when the quarterback gets outside the pocket and is able to make those off-schedule plays. Just because a lot of those guys on that defensive line are going to pin their ears back and they're going to try to get after the quarterback. So there's going to have to be some lane integrity and keeping him within the pocket and not letting him get out and making him play quarterback. I think that's the biggest thing we're going to have to see, is making him play quarterback. And they want to take shots. They got the receivers to do it. And so on the back end, we're going to have to be tight and sound and not give up anything, not let anybody get behind us. So as long as, like I said, stop the run, don't let anybody get behind you, I think you'll make it tough on them.
Yeah, we shall see. It's going to be, obviously, I think it's going to be the game of the weekend. But get into another game that I think is going to be sneaky good is this Clemson-Texas game. The spread screams to me to take Clemson. Obviously, I just saw Georgia beat Texas 2 times. Quinn Ewers does not impress me. I just don't think they're going to be able to score enough points to cover the spread, to be honest with you. Clemson is going to be able to score. And Texas defense is very good, and it's kind of been slept on all year. But the offense scares me. Quinn Ewers scares me. He's very staticky in the pocket. Like, as soon as he sees a glimpse of pressure, he's throwing off his back foot. That's what happened for those 2 picks in the SEC championship game. So a couple mistakes at home, you start to hear the rumblings in Austin. I think Dabo Swinney fist bumping on the sideline. I mean, I could see hell for Texas fans on Saturday. What do you think there?
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there. I've seen some reports come out. Obviously, Quinn Ewers has been in the news a little bit this week with the possibility of staying in college football, maybe not at Texas, but in college football. And he's got offers out there to go to the Big Ten. $4 million. He's got probably has the opportunity, I'm sure, with North Carolina and Belichick. I'm sure that's a spot where he would maybe consider if Texas isn't going to be the spot for him. But I think the big reason is that there's other reports out there that the NFL is not too high on him. I think from what I've seen, the scouting reports are kind of all over the place. Some people have him as an undrafted free agent, and some people have him as high as the third round. I don't think he's been good enough to put his name into that first round, second round category. So I think this is a big spot for him, I think. And I think part of it is he's started to feel the Manning pressure. Somebody was talking about it today. I was listening to a podcast. I don't remember which one it was, but they were talking about Florida with Chris Leak and Tebow back in the day. And Florida was a good team with Chris Leak at quarterback. They won plenty of games. He was a great quarterback, great player, and he was the leader of that team. But at the same time, I'm sure every time Tebow came in the game, the uproar, everybody's wanting Tim Tebow. And I'm sure when you're the leader of the team, you kind of feel that. And I think Quinn's kind of put himself in that spot, putting a lot of pressure on himself because the leash is probably pretty short with Arch being right behind him and everybody kind of wanting him. So, this is a big spot for him and what's going to happen for his future and kind of where he's going to go from here.
Yeah, I think he needs. I'm sure. Other teams are going to take him. Texas is definitely going to move on from him if he decides to come back to college. But the common denominator with all these teams, and I'm seeing it right now with Georgia, and I've seen it with Georgia in the past, is backups can run. Usually, the backup Tim Tebow there. We had Justin Fields, didn't start him. Right now we got Gunnar Stockton playing. He can run, brings an extra element. But in this day of college football, you can throw the ball a little bit better, but you got another guy that can run. You almost want to take the guy that can run these days. You almost have to. Because you got to take another guy out of the secondary to account for that guy running. It just makes things easier. Quinn Ewers, to me, there's a couple guys that are in this category, JT, that their freshman year they're very good, and they get worse with time. There's not many. Most guys get better when they're in a program. Jake Fromm comes to mind immediately. Freshman year, very good. That's why we kept him over Justin. Decline. So some guys are like that. I don't know what it is. I know injuries are, playing a pretty big role with him, but it's strange. It's almost like there's just not that fire anymore. They've seen it, done that. So you almost want to give the new guy a chance at a certain point. I can see it with Quinn Ewers. The fire's kind of gone. That game, I can just think of when Texas was not that good. Alabama came in. They should have won that game a couple years ago. That was Quinn's first year. He got hurt going into halftime. That Quinn Ewers right there, we have not seen that Quinn Ewers this year.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have? 200 yards at halftime. He was slinging it. And he was a freshman. So it is a weird conundrum how sometimes these quarterbacks do that. But here we are. I think K. Klubnik has a good game. The one thing I worry about with Clemson here is Phil Maffa. He's not looked good. He was, I thought, going to be a focal point of their offense. He's a big guy. Usually gets 4 or 5 yards a carry, but he's kind of fallen off this year. He's kind of banged up as well. But I see K. Klubnik, his ability to run the football is going to be a real, pivot point in this game. Once Gunnar got in the game, we went straight down the field in that second half. So Kane's going to be a step up from that, in my opinion. So my pick is, it's a sprinkle for me. I'm sprinkling Clemson, and I got 11.5 as well. I expect some points, more than usual. So maybe the over, I lean over, but Clemson in the points.
Yeah, I kind of tend to agree with you a little bit. I think it's going to be there's times Clemson's looked really good. There's times they've looked not so great. I think their defense has moments where it looks really, really good, and then there's moments where they tend to take their foot off the gas pedal. I think we saw it in the ACC championship. Beating up on SMU, not really giving them much, and then towards the end there, they gave up a lot. So I think if it comes down to it, and that defense is struggling, I think Texas is going to be able to take advantage of that a little bit, just because they do have weapons on offense. And if you get a good game out of Quinn Ewers, I think it'll make it tough on Clemson. And obviously, I think if it becomes a shootout, I think it really becomes a problem for Clemson. Klubnik is a great athlete, in my opinion, but as far as, being able to win a game with his arm, I think he's going to struggle in that realm. So for me, I do like Clemson to cover. Maybe not as much to win. I think the Texas defense is going to.
All righty. Sorry about that. Some technical difficulties, but I got Clemson thinking along the same wavelength. And here. Alrighty, in the first game of the weekend, first game of the college football playoff in general, we got a state championship with Indiana and Notre Dame. At Notre Dame, I think this is going to be another punch him in the mouth type of game for Ryan Leonard, and I think Notre Dame is really going to be able to run the football against Indiana and really just make this an ugly game. And once Indiana gets behind, I think they're going to struggle just like that Ohio State game. And I think that crowd's going to get on them quickly. I don't think it's going to be similar to, I think there's going to be more Tennessee fans at the Ohio State game. There's going to be at Indiana at the Notre Dame game. So I think the home field plays a big advantage here Friday night. And yeah, Notre Dame's just kind of quietly walked into this thing and no one's talking about them. This is kind of, I know you're down on Notre Dame, but this is kind of where Notre Dame needs to be to succeed, I believe. Not a ton of expectation, 12-team playoff, no conference championship, kind of quiet. I think this is a good spot for them to put their foot down and really take Indiana.
Yeah, I like this game too. I think this game's going to be a bit of a rock fight. It's going to be snowy. It's going to be cold. I mean, this is going to be classic Midwest football. I do like the under in this game a lot. We know what Notre Dame wants to do. They want to run the ball. They want to play defense. And then on the other side with Indiana, I think what's going to be their ticket here is how well Rourke plays, how that offense is. I think if they're able to throw the ball and kind of turn this into a shootout, I think that kind of favors them a little bit. It's kind of a similar situation with Riley Leonard and Will Howard. I just don't believe. I think Riley Leonard is a great athlete. I think if with the ball in his hands, he's a very capable runner, but I don't see him being a great passer. So in this game, I really think Indiana's game plan needs to be to make him play quarterback, make him throw the ball, and best way to do that is stop the run, don't let him get out of the pocket, and make him be a pure pocket passer. So I think if they can do that, this game's going to be really close. I personally like Indiana plus 7.5.
It's that time in the show where we got to thank our proud sponsor, BetUS. Go ahead, check them out at betus.com. Use the code YouTube150 and get 150% back on your first deposit, $125 on your second deposit, up to $2,000 with the code YouTube150. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Syracuse, money line, and the 59 over. And then go ahead, give me Texas A&M with the points, the money line, and the 51 over, because we know USC can't play any type of defense. Those are your bets. Go ahead, check them out. And if I'm wrong, it's okay, because you get 150% back on your first deposit, $125 on your second deposit, up to $2,000. This video is sponsored by BetUS. Go ahead, check them out. They've been powering us all season long.
Yeah, I see this game kind of coming down to, Indiana. I think Indiana covers 7.5. I think, Cignetti's going to come ready. He's going to have those boys ready to play, and they're going to make this tough on Notre Dame.
Yep, I disagree. I think Notre Dame is going to put their foot down, like I said, and I think 45-21 is kind of where I'm thinking with this.
45-21. I think it's low score, man. I like the under. I like the under a lot in this game. I really do. I think that this is going to be pretty tough on Notre Dame. I think they're going to make Riley Leonard play quarterback and make it a little tough on him, make him prove it. So thinking I like 20. What is the over under on that game?
Let's see.
51.5. Oh, I like a 24-20 type of game. I think that's 24-20, 24-17.
To me, the key for Indiana is they've got to get off to a hot start. I mean, as soon as they were down by a touchdown, 10 points in that Ohio State game, you knew the game was over. So, I mean, they got to jump out quick and get on them, I believe. So another game that I kind of expect a blowout in, or just the environment to get to SMU, is Penn State. I think they're going to play very well. I go back to my prediction of Tyler Warren, but they give him the ball so much. How could you not predict a throwing, a catching, and a rushing touchdown for the guy? So love all props for Tyler Warren in any way you can find him. And James Franklin's pissed off about Bo Prabula. Not sure if you've seen a bunch about this, JT, but he pretty much had to go in the transfer portal because that's the if he doesn't go in, he can't go to the school he wants. There's limited options. And now Penn State is down a backup who I originally think is better than Drew Aller, better for Penn State long term. So very tough blow for them. Drew Aller is not the most pocket passer either. He takes some licks. So Penn State's one big hit away from being in a real predicament. So that's really unfortunate for them. They got to change this NIL transfer portal timeline. Can't penalize the team that are in it. Sidebar, I know. But still, I don't think that affects them in this SMU game. I think Drew Aller, James Franklin, they get the boys going, and they score a lot of points. They roll from that Big Ten championship game, 45-21, similar score. I think they're going to be in the 40s for sure, and SMU is just not going to be able to keep up punch for punch.
Yeah, I think the other part that makes it tough on
are dealing with both of us with kitty cats rolling around here.
Yeah, causing issues. I think
I hear mine upstairs.
I think the other part with Prabula is like they have packages where he comes in the game, and so it kind of changes. It takes some plays out of your playbook there, and takes that change of pace you're looking for out. So he, like we said, Aller's not as much of a runner, and he kind of brings in that other dimension that you got to be able to look out for both. You can throw the ball, you can run it. So that's going to be interesting as well, as far as, not being able to utilize him and utilize those packages that come with him. But at the end of the day, you could probably use Tyler Warren for that too. So,
yeah, I mean,
yeah, so I think
definitely limits them in some ways. You're not going to allow Drew Aller to get hit as much, especially, I don't know how much faith I don't know who their third string quarterback is, JT, but most third string quarterbacks are not very good. So I'd imagine the game plan changes a little bit. And at least with this first game, I don't think they're going to have to open the playbook at all. That ACC championship game did not impress me at all. I know they came back, but look, SMU, they shouldn't be in this. This 12-team college football playoff is not made for an SMU. Look, Boise State, it's all good stories and all, but come on, man. How much better would it be if we had South Carolina and Sellers going up to Happy Valley for a game like this? Come on, are we serious? That's what we want as college football fans. So hopefully things change a little bit in terms of evening out scheduling. But I think SMU is out of this thing quick and in a hurry, and it's kind of like a TCU example.
Yeah, I don't see them lasting very long in this one. I do like Penn State to cover it in this game. Kind of like
What's the spread on that? I don't even care what it is. It's Penn State minus whatever. But what is it?
8.5.
8.5?
Yep.
Yeah, they're going to win by that. And I was watching a show earlier this week, and Brett Lashley was on, and he was saying that good players, starting players, are getting poached right now from other schools for transfer. So
yeah. No, well, Tennessee's lost a lot of we're getting pretty thin at wide receiver. I'll say that, as far as the backups go. So it's going to be interesting.
Are they in the Dade key market?
Huh?
Are they in the Dade key market like us?
I don't know. I haven't seen much. Seems like everybody's wanting to go to Colorado.
Look, I was sure that Dion was going to take this and head straight to the NFL with Shadur, with whatever. I'm sure he could do that, but it sounds like he's trying to stick to it.
Yeah. We'll see how it works out for him.
Getting old Carrollton boy to come over.
Yeah, he's going to have some competition. I guess Caden Salter just committed to Colorado as well. So
I think I've been a nerd a little bit this week with this high school football. I'm not usually into all the recruiting stuff. But again, Ethan Barber is going to be a Men Amongst Boys next year. And Julian Lewis, the kid's pretty good. 2-time Gatorade Player of the Year, or State Player of the Year. I think that's what it is. Gatorade. Only other guy to do that, Trevor Lawrence. So he's going to be good. But
Yeah, we'll see how long he
maybe
stays.
during this offseason, me and JT are going to get more into the recruiting cycles.
We'll see how long he stays at Colorado. I doubt all.
And hot take, and I told this to Shelton last year. Dylan Raiola is already kind of jumpy. He's coming to Georgia, man. He's coming back at some point, Dylan Raiola, and he's going to be phenomenal.
No. He's got to keep the cosplay up. Texas Tech. It's the only place he can go.
Look, I think a lot of going to Georgia for a second, I think a lot of our quarterback future, I think we were thinking we were going to go to the portal before Gunner came in there and played pretty good. I think Kirby probably had going to the portal in mind. But it sounds like, who knows, Carson could be coming back next year. I've heard rumors of that. We just talked about Quinn Ewers, so it's a different day and age. Dude, I just heard Diego Pavia is coming back for next year.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And one thing on that, Steve Sarkisian's the biggest hypocrite of all time. I just saw him saying that's not good for college football, not good at all, and Quinn Ewers is going to come do the exact same thing. But I think Diego's a little bit older. I think he's maybe like 20-something, 27.
27, yeah. No, at this point, like, why wouldn't you stay if you don't think you're going to go first round and these teams are willing to pay you $4 million, I guess, in Quinn Ewers' situation? Like, you're just going to lose money by not just staying. Like, I would stay. Third round pick, you're not making as much money coming back for a year of college football, getting a bag, and then you can deal with NFL after that. So
yeah, I was wide receivers, especially if you're not a top 10, top 15 pick in the draft, you will without a doubt make more money staying in college.
Oh yeah.
I mean, dude, Bobby Brown going to LSU from Kentucky is getting $3 million, dude. I mean, he can run really fast, but look at his stats. He did not do much. It's crazy this market right now. And again, this is going to make them change eligibility. I know we're talking Diego being really old, but some of these guys just being on the fringe, there's no benefit to go to the NFL. You're going to use every ounce of this eligibility. So there's got to be some changes soon with all this. Yeah, but it's definitely chaos. That's for sure.
Yeah, they got to figure out something. There's got to be CBA contracts. There's got to be something that's got to be in the works, because it's gotten to the point where, like, the fact that you can just come in and just say, I'm leaving, like, can't do anything about it, is a little ridiculous. So, I think that's a big reason Saban left, because it's just dealing with it would not be ideal. And there's just no, it's how much money can I make? Nobody's really worried about football at this point. So it's like, all right, I'm just going to leave because I can make more money. That's not the best way to do it, in my opinion. So there's got to be something that we can set up, salary cap, something to kind of tone this down a little bit.
Yeah, and hopefully some of these guys realize, I mean, just all that movement's not good for you as a person, for growth, all the moving around. What is it? Let's see, Green Lights. I read that book recently, Matthew McConaughey. He's like, you got to act like you're, wherever you go, you got to at least put yourself there for 2 years. It's good for the mind just to stick through things. And I think these college football kids just need to push through some adversity sometimes, serve them well down the road.
Yeah,
but it's a business. I get it. I know I sound like an old man, but I just don't want no one leaving Georgia, and I don't think they will if we need them. But regardless, my lock of the week with these games, just to briefly recap, I got Penn State big, I got Notre Dame big, I got Clemson in a sprinkle. They're my lock, plus the 11.5. And then I got this Tennessee Ohio State game, JT. I'm back and forth. Love the under. I think Ohio State wins by a field goal in overtime. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I'm going to go Clemson in that Clemson-Texas game, like the under in Indiana and Notre Dame, like the under in Tennessee. If you really want to get spicy, just go and throw some on Tennessee money line, plus 230, I think. Plus 230. It's a good number. Tennessee money line, Tennessee plus 7.5. Don't usually do it. I don't really bet on my own team. I got enough invested. I don't need my money invested in them too. I'm a Bears fan, so learn from that. Learn from that mistake one too many times. Can't keep doing that. And then give me the over in Penn State SMU. Over 53.5. I'll take that. Lock of the week.
Got it. Yeah.
Lock of the week is the under in Indiana Notre Dame. That's my lock.
We're completely opposite on that. I think there's going to be some points scored in that game. Just with this college football season, first game, it's just kind of a vibes thing for me with how crazy it's been. First game, it's going to be a shootout, I think. Right, with touchdown Jesus there, I mean, it's perfect. But we got a good week of college football coming. That is for sure. Your lock is that under. Only other thing I would leave everybody with is, again, Ryan Day could be coming to an SEC school near you if they lose this football game. Because I think he's gone immediately. Mike Vrabel's in. And I think Ryan Day, I've heard things about some various schools in the SEC that would love to have him. Nothing crazy, none of the big ones, but that would be interesting. I would love to see Ryan Day in the SEC. So with that, thanks for watching, everybody. We will be back next week with the second round games. JT's got to layer up. It's going to be cold in the shoe. But with that, go Dogs.
Go Vols, baby. Let's go.
This video is sponsored by BetUS. Go ahead, check them out at betus.com, powering our videos all year long. That's betus.com.